Well, it's Wednesday, and you all know what that means. If you probably know right about now, it's just that one time a year again with New Japan where they collaborate with their brethren in Mexico, CML, with the annual Fantastica Mania, which is going to be one awesome tour. We're going to see talents from both New Japan and CMLL collaborate for Fantastica Mania. And then, of course, we move on with WWE. As you all know, we're almost near the end of the season, but however, preparations are being made for the upcoming beginning of the season for next month in session 2. However, also, the PC guys are not done with the ID gun guys by a long shot, so more battle lines are being drawn here. And then finally, as you know, we are on the road to Revolution AEW Dynamite. A lot of things are taking place, as you probably hear. We're going to see a face to face confrontation between both MJF and Hangman. And for the first time ever, we will see Kenny Omega taking on Swerve Strickland. We even have, of course, the TBS Championship on the line. We even have the AEW Continental title in a Eliminator match also. So it's going to be chaotic as we go from A to Z. And then, as always, we'll wrap up our episode, as usual, with some news updates. Give you guys updates on what's been happening in the world of wrestling, such as what events the promotions are throwing out, who's booked, what matches are set, including developments that are happening in the world of wrestling as we speak. So, let's get ready for another episode of Deleted Wrestle Zone.
Are you ready? Get up, get up! 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 Get up, get up!
Hey everyone, welcome to Deleted Wrestle Zone. All things that is pro wrestling with AEW, NXT, New Japan Pro Wrestling, TNA, the National Wrestling Alliance, various promotions, wrestlers, matches, and championships. I am your host, J-Rod here. So, if you are new to the channel, welcome. This is a channel we do a lot of pro wrestling reviews from various promotions, not only here in the United States, but also in Japan, Mexico, Canada, Europe, the UK. In the world of pro wrestling, it's not as big, but it continues to grow. We also do discussion videos, talk about various topics such as the wrestlers themselves, the promotions, factions, storylines, whatever we want to talk about. We also, of course, do more news updates. If certain information is unable to be on this episode, we can either put it on the next one or on a separate video by itself. We also, of course, do real-time news updates to keep you guys on alert if something has happened in the world of pro wrestling that needs to be addressed ASAP. We also, of course, got to do Nike Sayaka Watch and various other cool wrestling content as well. So if you like what you see, please subscribe to us and click on that subscribe button. You'll be getting a lot of daily reviews and other cool wrestling content as well. But if you like this episode, please give us a like on the like button or a nice comment in the description down below. Now, enough of the jibber jabbers. It's time to buckle up. So, let's begin with the collaboration between CMLL and New Japan, Fantastica Mania. Okay, New Japan presents CMLL's Fantastica Mania 2026. Now, for those who are not familiarized with this event, if you're new to the channel, this is a collaboration between CML and New Japan Pro Wrestling. Keep in mind, these guys have a working partnership. Now, for those who don't know this other part too, they often send their young lions to their promotion to train them and show them what's it like to be wrestlers. I mean, there have been wrestlers kind of like, of course, Hiromu Takahashi, Master Wato, who else, and a few others, and of course Yoda Suji is amongst them. But the latest young line that'll be making his presence there is Shomakato, so he will be the next young line to go there. But we often see wrestlers who have wrestled there as well, like Taiji Shimori, who's wrestled in Japan. I mean, in Mexico in the past, he does speak Spanish, in case anybody asks. And of course, don't forget like the Lij connection that began from there to back and forth, that sort of thing. But it's a lot of fun to enjoy, and they often have, of course, the Fantastica Mania tag team tournament where there's like some teams are already established, some makeshift teams that actually they put it together. But right now we're going to open up with the first round matches on this one. Then that's where we start with the opening match, which is the first round of the Fantastica Mania tag team tournament. First, we have Shomakato teaming up with Hijo de Suka Jr., taking on Los Viajadores de Espacio, consistent of Valiente Jr. and a Futuro. Now, obviously, you probably can tell just by hearing these names that the well, I'll translate that the Travelers from Space, of course, they have a well-established tag team. So basically, they had the much better advantage, and they have some great high-flying skills. You probably would enjoy watching it. But unfortunately, it was Shomakato who ended up on the wrong side of a springboard moonsault by Futuro, and just like that, 1, 2, 3, it was over. Next up, we have Zane J taking on Hechiseto. However, Zane J, as you know, he is now declaring himself that he is no longer a young lion, that he's just a full-blown member of course, of the United Empire, and he's telling Hechiseto that respect my name, I'm no longer a young lion, but he forgets. Here's a guy who's an expert in technical wrestling that could put you in a submission and find ways to take you out. And that's exactly what Hechiseto did to him. He put him in a submission, and just like that, he had no choice but to tap out. Now, our next match, we continue more with the Fantastica Mania Tour tournament, still with the first round matches. Our next match, we have Stigma coming out in a Tiger Mask like type mask with Tiger Mask, and they take on Magnus and Alverno. Now, of course, these two guys are two of the heels down there in CML. But the one thing that changed it is, of course, Averno decided to distract the referee, while, of course, Magnus had the audacity to remove Tiger Mask, and just like that, 1, 2, 3, he pinned him because, of course, the rule as a masked wrestler, you're supposed to cover your face. And of course, they decided to give him a beatdown in order to teach him a lesson that he is no longer the well recognized Tiger Mask. Now, of course, we know that he's going to be retiring this year, but many of us are asking, are there's going to be a new Tiger Mask? I don't know. Now we continue more with the Fantastica Mania Tag Team Tournament. We have, of course, Cozy Max, consisting of Okumura and Satoshi Kojima. They take on Atlantis and his son, Atlantis Jr. So you got father and son duo, which is a really fun one because you probably hardly see any father and sons that much often in Lucha Libre, but it helps out. But of course, they had to deal with the machine guns, the chops by Kojima and all that, but it was Atlantis Jr. that made the fantastic win when he applied a frog splash on the Okumura, and just like that, 1, 2, 3, se acabó. Now, our next match, we had a very interesting 8-man tag match. We have Masatora Yasuda, Ryusuke Taguchi with his little Egyptian style lucha mask that he often wears. Master Wato wearing a sarape and a sombrero. And then, of course, El Desperado. They face, of course, a very interesting team. We have Daiki Nagai. We have Bone Soldier Jr. It's actually Taiji Shimori. Shh. Then we have, of course, Philip Malo. That's Yoda Tsuji. And then, of course, we have Titan. So that's an interesting matchup. So it was a real fun one, of course. I enjoyed it, but it was Titan with El Inmortal onto, of course, doing the was a double foot stomp onto Yasuda, and just like that, 1, 2, 3, it was over. However, of course, Taguchi got involved with Philip right in the face, try to remove his mask, which he did, but luckily Titan had a mask that would keep his face covered. It's just Yoda Suji. Shh. Now our next match is a lightning match. Now think of this as as the speed match that we see in WWE, but much with a 10-minute time limit. And we have Soberano Jr. versus Templario. It was a really crazy match, high flying skills and all that, and fast paced. But however, it ended in a time limit draw. But once the draw was done, well, let's just say these guys decided they want to continue fighting regardless of the bell, but they had no choice but to shut them down. Now, our next match is the last match of the first round of Fantastica Mania Tag Team Tournament. We have Show once again being cocky as he always claims he is, and then of course he teams up with Ultimo Guerrero. They take on El Sky Team consisting of Máscara Dorada and Místico, a very formidable team as you all know. Because let's face it, guys, we know the El Sky Team are established. They're part of a stable faction. But, however, of course, we often will see dirty tricks from Show, but it did not do any well for him because he got taken out. But it was Místico, well, not Mística, onto Ultimo Guerrero, and just like that, he tapped out. It was over. That's all she wrote, folks. So, we will be doing more of these shows. They will be doing a tour of this, so we'll get to there. But as of right now, we're done with this one. Let's move on with WWE Evolve. Okay, WWE Evolve. Now, as you all know, we're nearly the end of the season before we restart again in March, early March to be exact. Now, it opened up with Nikita Lyons and Ariana Grace. As you all know, they've been dealing with their problems towards Layla Diggs and Mason Holiday due to the fact that they act like they're better than them because they make fun of them. So, as you know, they will be part of the main event that will happen later on in the evening. Then, of course, we move on with the contract signing. With, of course, the Women's Evolved Championship. Kendall Gray will defend her belt against PJ Vasa. As you all know, she's been a force to be reckoned with since she first appeared. Now, it's obviously we all remember that she's been aiming for this title since she first arrived. But now the battle lines are being drawn for the upcoming Secession 2 in March. Excuse me. Okay, anyway, uh, so that was the whole point. Excuse me. Sorry about that. Anyway, of course they signed the contract and they had something to say. But of course, PJ Vasa decided to try to take her out to show her that no matter what, she's the one who's going to walk out as the Women's Evolve champion. Now, we did see a bit of a vignette with Cappuccino Jones talking about how the other ID prospects were called up into, of course, into NXT, but not him. But right now, the only thing that matters to him is having a little bit of fun. So we'll see how that turns out. Now, our first match, we have Dante Chen versus Brooks Jensen. Now, of course, Brooks Jensen, as you know, he viciously attacked Harlem Lewis to try to stop him from making his challenge for the Evolve Championship that Jackson Drake has in his possession. So Dante Chen tried to fight it off, but with Brooks Jensen, he was willing to go the distance to try to dismantle him, and that's exactly what he did. And then he applied an innovative backbreaker on him, and just like that, 1, 2, 3, it was done. Now, we did see a video promo from Wendy Chu talking to Callie Armstrong, say, look, I was trying to be nice to you, giving you advice, but you decided to give me a punch in the stomach. But you and I, we will handle things in a succession. So that's what they're planning to do. Now, in the Vanity Project, as you know, they've been chilling in their own room, and they were visited by the guys from ID. Of course, Aaron Rourke, Mike Cunningham, and Sean Legacy. Now, of course, these guys have been fully aware of what the PC guys are declaring, and they're telling him, look, It's obviously we're all RD guys, including the Vanity Project. They're saying we were given opportunities, and they feel that we're the ones stealing them from them, and they want to wipe us out, and we can't let that happen. Look, despite of our differences, we need to work together to ensure that ID Prospect continues on the way it should be. So even though the Vanity Project knows that this is no longer about who's the top dogs and all that, but this is about try to stop the PC guys. So obviously we will see them combined in that 5-on-5 match that will happen later on. At some, I think next week I believe it's going to happen, but we'll see. Now, uh, we did see in the VIP lounge before the next match we have Harley Riggins, Cam Hendricks, and Braxton Cole, because the next match features Drake Monroe and It's Skull. Basically, this is like one of those PC guy versus uh, ID guys, because that's what it was. Because of Monroe, he actually is a PC guy, but he didn't want nothing to do with this whole war between the two of them. He's more about the healthy competition. But it was a pretty good match, not gonna lie. And then of course Isgal tried to do some stupid things, but unfortunately he ended up in a choke slam. But it's what the commentators call it as the swamp slam, which of course I feel is appropriate because Drake Monroe is from New Orleans, and of course New Orleans has the Bayou. Now, anyway, in the post match, Cam Hendricks, as you know, is looking for two other candidates to join him in this 5-on-5. But Drake Monroe kind of gave a little cryptic message, like he's saying to them, "I am in it," but he's not really in it. That sort of thing. And it's Gall say, "Look, let me join," but they're like, "Nope, sorry, pal, you're ID. I don't want you in it." But that's how they've been rolling. Now, Callie Armstrong decided to also put out a video promo, talk about Wendy Chu, how it wasn't personal towards her for what she did, but it was more like, what did you do for me? That sort of thing, that's what it was. And then so she decided to accept the challenge because she felt the fire within her when she was champion. So we'll see how that plays out too. Now our main event is Layla Diggs and my what's her name? Mason Holiday taking on Nikita Lyons and Ariana Grace. It was a good match, but in the VIP lounge we did see Chantel Monroe watching. Don't know what's her purpose there, but this match ended with Ariana applying a fireman's carry onto Layla Diggs, and just like that, 1, 2, 3, it was done. However, before the show ever ended, we did see Tate Wild did a video promo talking about this war between the PC guys and the ID guys, saying, "Look, I have no problems with these guys, but you guys got like Hendricks, uh, Riggins, Cole." They all try to run amok, and they're saying, oh, it's all about egos and all this. He's all about making peace with both sides, but of course, it's not going to happen. But he feels like there was injustice what's been going on with the PC guys, what they've been doing, running a racket. So he said on the match that features next week for the 5-on-5, he's going to be, of course, the special guest referee. So that's going to be interesting. Now, I don't know what the PC guys or the ID guys think of it, but we'll see what happens. But until then, we'll end things here and move on with our last and final review, AEW Dynamite. Okay, AEW Dynamite. Now, it opened up with an interview with Orange Cassidy about, as you know, what happened last week with, or was it this past Saturday? Anyway, Rod Strong walked down on Orange Cassidy during their tag match, but also he was a no-show. But Orange Cassidy did something that kind of really was interesting. He said, "There's more of us in conglomeration," and the person that appeared was the Stone Pitbull Tomohiro Ishii, so they will be teaming up later on. Now, our first match is an Eliminator match for the AEW Continental Championship. Jon Moxley, as you know, put out the challenge onto the Don Callis family, saying, "Come on, send in the best you got, or the ones that think they can take me out." And they sent, of course, Dunkzilla himself, Mark Davis. I thought the match was insane, but the one thing that was crazy is that Mark Davis punched hit right into the post, and then you can see blood coming out of his hand. I don't know exactly if it was real or anything, but it sounded like a real clunk I never heard of. I don't know if you guys heard that too, but of course we did see John Moxley put him out with the bulldog choke, and just like that, it was over. Now we did see what happened last on Grand Slam this past Saturday. Hangman talked about about MJF. Tell him that all this and that's going to happen now that he has him in his sights. So we'll see where that leads because they will be seeing eye to eye real soon. Now FTR, as you know, they of course had a problem with the Young Bucks. Now it's no secret about their history about they've been going back and forth proving themselves to be who is the best tag team in the world. But the one thing that Stokely finds very, very ignorant is the fact that recently in the past they were in fact the EVPs taking control of course, of everything, and now they went back to the good guys type of thing. And the one thing that makes them sick is seeing that they shook hands with, of course, the Rascals and Private Party. And then, of course, Stokely had it way. Well, I have to say, he was a real idiot. He decided to insult their kids. And that's a big no no until FTR got a super kick party. And then, of course, Stokely also got a super kick party for his trouble. So he had it coming. Now, Brody King, as you know, this past Saturday at Grand Slam Australia, was this close in defeating NJF, but he did stated that he feels the taste. So basically, he feels that now he has now he can pursue for the AEW World Title. So that will be on his site as well. Now we have a four-way battle for the TBS Championship. Willow defends it against three other competitors. One is Marina Shafir, Megan Bayne, and Mina Shirakawa. Now, obviously, it's no secret that Megan Bayne has challenged for the has has problems towards Willow Nightingale and her tag partner Harley Cameron, the Babes of Wrath. But the one thing that was interesting is we know that Megan Bayne and Marina Shafir had teamed up in the past, but of course, this is all about the TBS title. And man, Megan Bayne powerbombed Marina Shafir through the timekeeper's table, and then of course Mina Shirakawa tried to be throw in a little showboat, cost her dearly when what's her name, Willow put her in the inside cradle, and just like that, 1, 2, 3, done. Now we did see a bit the face-to-face with Hangman and MJF. MJF, as you know, once again being MJF, telling him, "Do you think you have everything what it takes and all that?" He said he always hated Hangman and all that, but of course, Hangman is the type of person who's willing to put everything on the line, and that is, of course, everything. So he decided to put himself into a Texas death match, which is no secret that he has won those matches. But the real question is, will MJF agree? We'll see. Now, John Moxley, as you know, and his Death Riders continue the war against Don Callis, setting up a message. Of course, John Moxley said he is not done with Takeshita because, as you saw what happened in Grand Slam Australia, it ended in a draw, which is not good for Moxley. He feels that it has to end, and he wants this to happen at Revolution. So, of course, we cannot forget, they're saying to the Don Callis family, we did hear from Pac, we did hear from Daniel Garcia. They're telling them, bring in the best you got. And it's going to be a battle between the two sides. Now, our next match, we have, of course, Orange Cassidy and Tomohiro Ishii of the Conglomeration taking on the Dogs, consistent of Clark Connors and Gabe Kidd. Now, obviously, we all know what these guys did. They, in fact, tried to hurt Darby Allin, tried to dismantle him in every way possible. But, of course, when Gabe Kidd thought he had everything under control, well, Darby Allin took him out, left the ring with him, leaving Clark Connors all by himself. But we did see a bit of a kind of like a hip strain coming from Ishii, but Orange Cassidy knocked out Clark Connors with the Orange Punch, and then Ishii with the Brain Buster, and just like that, 1, 2, 3, done. Now, Don Callis, of course, doing their usual promo with Carnage in the backstage, are sending a message to Death Riders. And of course, they accept the challenge. And of course, Andrade said he still has his sights set for the AEW World title, but they have much bigger fish to fry. But of course, Don Callis, as you know, they are determined to win every championship they can get, and he has a sight set on the CML World title. So that is something we'll definitely see soon enough. Now, Hook once again did a video promo about his leadership as the Ops while Samoa Joe is out on injury, so the usual thing. Now, our next match, we have the debut of the Brawling Birds, Alex Windsor and Jamie Hayter, taking on Becca and Viva Van. Now, obviously, it was going to be exactly like I would have imagined, and I'm sure many of you thought the same thing. The Brawling Birds were going to pick up the win. And they applied a move that they call two birds, one stone. Basically, Alex Windsor had Becca right on top, like in a setup for a spinebuster position, but that gave, of course, Jamie to apply the Hater like a clothesline or lariat and knocking her out, dubbing it as two birds, one stone. I mean, two stones and one stone. So that kind of thing. I don't know, but yes, that's how it goes. Uh, then we see an interview with Chris Statlander and Thunder Rosa. As you know, Chris Statlander is still has some unfinished business with Tekla, but she is not medically cleared. However, Thunder Rosa, who is in fact medically cleared, also wants a piece of Tekla. But of course, Chris Statlander thinks that she's making things way too rational, but we'll see. Now, our next match, we have Kevin Knight taking on Beast Mortos. I thought the match was pretty insane. I thought it was good. I mean, Kevin Knight, not only we can consider him as a tactical specialist, but he does have what it takes to take out any competitor as a singles competitor at his sights. And he took out Beast Mortos with the UFO, and just like that, 1, 2, 3, it's over. Now, the demand, as you know, Ricochet, Bishop Khan, and Tail Leona, let's just say they're happy they took out Jack Perry, and of course they're done. But however, they have their sights set on the AEW World Trios title, so they're demanding that they defend those belts this coming Saturday, which ironically I will be attending. So hopefully I get a good seat. But before they head to the locker room, they see a knife, and it's the calling card of Jack Perry. But they think someone is just joking with them. They think Jack Perry's not going to show up, but I wouldn't be surprised if he does show up this Saturday. Now, our main event, we have Swerve Strickland and Kenny Omega. Man, this match was out of this world. They put everything out there. One thing was crazy is Aubrey Edwards got caught in the crossfire of the V trigger, but another referee did show up. But it was, in fact, the combination of the house call and big pressure by Swerve that took out Kenny. And 1, 2, 3, Swerve picked up the win. But however, during the post match, he decided to brutalize him completely more, tried to take him out completely, and just like that. Now, people have been questioning, did he had any wasn't he supposed to have a match at Revolution? Well, it turns out that his schedule is conflicted, so the answer to that is no. But I can't wait to see what's going to happen this Saturday. So I'm sure you guys will see that on the next DWZ at the wrestling event, which is going to be a lot of fun. So as of right now, we're done with our reviews. Let's move on with, of course, some news updates. Okay, welcome to our news updates. So let's begin with upcoming events with the promotions, and of course we have big updates from GCW. As you know, they'll be in Rochester on the 27th of February for What's My Name. The GCW Ultraviolet Championship will be on the line. Otis Kogan will defend it against Beastman. And then, of course, on the 7th of March in Columbus, Ohio for So Alive, Gringo Loco will take on Marcus Mathers. And then the following day, they'll make their way to Chicago for Ransom on March 8th The GCW tag team belts will be on the line in a four-way. We have YDNP, which is Alec Price and Jordan Oliver, taking on the Outbreak versus Bang, which is of course August Matthews and Davey Bang, and of course Unsigned. Then we have on the 15th of March, so much fun, day two of the 2 day show in Atlantic City. The GCW World title will be defended. Atticus Cogar will defend the belt against Slade. And then, of course, we had the Las Vegas shows. First, we have Bloodsport 15 that will happen on the 17th. It was announced that Brick Stevens will be participating. And then the following day, on the 18th of April, Effie's Big Gay Brunch, Mercedes Martinez will be making her official debut, but however, this will be possibly her last show in GCW. As you know, she is on the verge of retirement. Now, we do have updates from, of course, House of Glory. We have the No Turning Back that taking place on the 20th. MJF will take on Zilla Fatu, which is interesting because, as you know, MJF is the current AEW World Champion. Zilla Fatu is the current House of Glory Crown Jewel Champion. But none of the titles are not on the line, but it was probably going to be a killer match. And then, of course, the following month, on the 21st of March, ironically, which is my brother's birthday, we have a Super Clash, and they just announced The Acclaim will be making their appearance. I'm not sure if this is an official reunion, but who knows. Now, as you know, every year for a couple of days, German promotion West Side Extreme Wrestling will have the sixth annual tournament, 16 karat gold, that goes on from the 6th of March all the way to the 7th. The first round matches have been announced. Now, I'm not going to put into names that you may not know, but here are the names that you do know that will be participating. We have, of course, Tetsuya Naito will taking on a guy named Dater Schwartz. Then we have Yamato from Dragon Gate. He'll take on Alex Tischer, who you may remember, a former member of Imperium. And then finally, Big Hash Shihiro Hashimoto will take on Thomas Shire. Now, as you all know, we do have the collaboration between Ring of Honor and Maple Leaf Pro Wrestling for Global Wars Canada that will take place on the 27th of March in Windsor, Ontario, Canada. Diana Prazu will be participating. Blackman Suri, a well-known wrestler in Japan, has put out an independent show that he'll put out on the 9th of April in Shinjuku Face, and he just announced a very interesting match. He recruited the ladies from Evolution, consistent of Soy and Chica. They'll take on, of course, Lady C and Waka Tsukiyama. Now, Waka and Lady C both commented on their own X account that this is the first time in 4 years that these two will team up. Remember, when they first started out, they were a team known as Sea Moon. So you can say this is a somewhat of a Sea Moon reunion. So we'll see how that. And then finally, as you know, for the Las Vegas shows, New Japan will have Vegas Invitational by Despy on the 16th of April. He just announced Masashi Takeda will be participating, so that's going to be a killer match. Now, as we get to WrestleCon during WrestleMania week, I will announce wrestlers who will be participating if I have any subscribers who will be actually attending. And they just announced that Anna Jay will be there. Now, we haven't heard anything from Anna Jay recently about if she's going to be signed or not, but it is. Now, we only got one development here that came out. Now, recently in the CML Informa, there was a discussion about a partnership between both Consejo Mundial and, of course, the Maple Leaf Pro Wrestling, which is Scott D'Amore. Scott D'Amore was at the interview talking about the partnership between the two. So we will probably see CML talent making their way to Canada. And of course, there are many people that would like to see Maple Leaf Pro Wrestling become partners with AEW, Ring of Honor, and possibly New Japan. I'm not sure, because it's going to be interesting to see that. So that's pretty much it what we have of our news update. So let's call it a day. Well, I hope everybody enjoyed this episode. Coming up, we have, of course, Ring of Honor and TNA, so we'll see how things will go. But if there's another New Japan Fantastica Mania, then I'll do that too. But we'll see how things will go from there. But until then, I will see you guys in the next DWZ time, same DWZ channel. I must bid all of you adieu. So, Goodbye, and have a nice day. Bang.